Where else you want to go? Don't nobody do it like us, bro. Oh, my goodness. We beat the brakes off y'all. Whoop that trick.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back live. Cowboys game day live. Jesse Holley, Skywalker still. Week 13. You hear the music. We hear the battle, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
We
Oh, man. Yes, this is Game Day Live, brought to you by Ideal Turf, the #1 artificial turf company in the Dallas, Texas area. You see Nick back there. He getting hyped too.
Yeah. Yeah,
you better be getting hyped.
We lit.
You better be getting hyped. Cowboys better be getting hyped because they're on a 2-game slide. Jesse coming in 7-4 against a hungry, battered, beaten, but a team pushed back in the corner in the New Orleans Saints, coached by Sean Payton. So I expect them to match that energy today, Jesse. But how you feeling coming off of that Thanksgiving? Not necessarily the game, but just the holiday in general, bro. How you feeling?
You know, the holiday was great. Food was great. Game was trash. But the good thing is we get to play another game tonight, and we get to right all of the wrongs that we've seen in the last 2 games. Thank the Lord that we don't have to see any more AFC West
they got our number.
Teams. They definitely do have our number. But tonight is one of those tricky games.
It is.
It's one of those when you see the wounded animal in the corner and it's limping and you think, that's an easy kill. And then you go over to try to just make the kill, and it fights with everything that it has left. And it sometimes will fight so hard that it ends up injuring you. It ends up hurting you. It ends up inflicting more pain on you than you on it, because it's just saying, this is all I have left. I know I'm wounded, so either I have to fight for my life or you're going to take it. And I think this is where we find the New Orleans Saints tonight. They're without their starting quarterback. They're without their starting running back, right tackle, left tackle. Who else?
They're without their main wide receiver.
Main tight end. I mean, but the one thing that is constant, and the one thing that I will believe in until the day that I am called home to the Lord, Sean Payton can coach.
Yeah.
Sean Payton can coach, and it's nothing more than Sean Payton wants to do
beat the Cowboys.
Than beat the Cowboys. He's really good friends with Jerry Jones. He wants to be a Dallas Cowboy head coach one day.
He may be.
And he may be. But until then, coaching
the Saints over there.
He wants to beat Jerry Jones at every single turn that he can. He
wants to do this.
He definitely wants to do that. And so the Cowboys have to come out, and you can't play down to your competition.
No.
Don't look at them and say, the Cowboys have to realize we know what that looks like. We understand what it means to be limited.
I was just about to say, they're wounded too, or have been, but.
So the Cowboys have to come out, leave no doubt, because they're going to fight.
Yeah.
But they don't have enough, if you really, truly put the whooping on them, to survive long term. But if you give this team a chance, if they're hanging around in the third quarter, they're down 6 or 5 or 7, magical things can happen in New Orleans.
I believe that this team should be coming into this game with the same mentality as the Saints.
Yep.
They've lost 3 out of 4 back-to-back games got whooped, not even whooped, but Thanksgiving, when you lose, you lose. It is what it is. You got whooped on Thanksgiving. You should be coming in with that same type of mentality. There's no entitlement coming into this game.
No, you lost that.
You lost that. You lost all benefit of the doubt. We talked about that, right? After you got whooped by the Broncos, you figured, okay, everybody has a game like that. But you lose 3 out of 4 to the AFC West. There is no benefit of the doubt. So you need to come in here and you need to feel like you need to play like you're the team backed into the corner.
You are.
You're the team wounded. Right, exactly. So I'm of the mindset, match that same mentality as the wounded dog, as they say, right?
Yes.
So we're going to break it all down from top to bottom, but first we got to start off with the game day catch-up, which starts with the inactives. For the Cowboys, there aren't many. Said Wilson, Will Greer, Azur Kamara, the cousin of – no, not really. I'm just kidding. Really
no Kamaras tonight.
No Kamaras. Yeah, no Kamaras tonight. And that's the other side I want to talk about. And we kind of went over at the beginning here. The Saints are going to be without Alvin Kamara, right?
Yes.
They're going to be without Was it Ramczyk, the tight end, or the tackle? Ryan Ramczyk. Teron Armstead, their tackle. They're going to be without Marcus Davenport, their leading sack guy. They're going to be without another defensive end, I believe, is their second leading sack guy. And I cannot pronounce his name. TK is what I've been calling him.
Yeah.
I don't want to butcher it too much, but TK.
I'm going to find him for you.
Keep
talking.
And it's crazy because his last name starts with a K, but you don't pronounce it. So. But he's going to be out. So they're down a lot of players on that side of the ball today, so the Cowboys should be able to take advantage of it. But I think Broad has said this, and I loved it. He said, on paper, they have the massive advantage. The only advantage they don't have is that you got to go play the game.
Yes.
And we've seen in the league this year where teams are losing to teams they shouldn't. So it's all about getting out there and playing the game. And let's kind of catch up a little bit more on what happened this week. Tristan Hill. When the Tristan Hill thing happened, Jesse texted me it, and we both were just like, come on, man. What are you doing, son? What are you doing? You can't do that. Now, to be fair, I got on Tristan Hill immediately. The suspension came down. I wasn't happy about the suspension being 2 games. Got reduced to 1. I don't know if you saw the tweet I sent you today. I kind of want to get your opinions on that. He looked like he was instigated in that manner. Now, I'm not saying you haul off and punch somebody.
Right.
But initially when we saw it, we were like, what are you doing, son?
Right. You
can't do that because you play for the Cowboys and these things happen. But kind of your overall thoughts on Tristan Hill's situation leading up to the game.
My mindset is always stop putting yourself in positions where you leave the choice to someone else.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what do you prove? Even if he did instigate, and I'm not saying being a punk, I'm no punk. I'm not saying Tristan Hill's a punk. But what if he did get in your face?
Yeah.
Right? What is it? For Tristan Hill as a player, you've been gone all season. You have 0 skins on the wall in this organization right now. You have nothing you can go on there and say, man, I've done this, and this. I should be given a contract. Like, literally, people are always asking, where's Tristan Hill? What a wasted draft pick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when is he going to really produce for us? When is he going to give us something? And so when you go out there and you do these type of things, you just continue to add more negative stuff to your resume. And so I'm not defending the Raiders player because he did get in his face. But Tristan Hill, you got to know sometimes, man, like that's gonna be looked at and reviewed all the time. And people, on my Twitter all the time, like, oh, yeah, the NFL office is always,
You're the FedEx man. You talk about FedEx all the time.
The Cowboys don't have a good – and I say this. I said, Jerry Jones a couple years with that Zeke Elliott situation, he took a shot at the king.
He missed.
And he missed. And he wanted Roger Goodell fired. And he didn't do it.
And
so now every time a Cowboy has to go face someone in one of those New York offices – you're not getting the benefit of the doubt, bro. You should know that by now. There are several instances before yours where you've seen that it don't work too well in our favor in New York City. But yet and still you want to put yourself in that mix to have to go to New York City for a ruling or a judgment. I don't want to get into all of that.
We won't.
The NFL makes their own rules. They're the judge, juror, and executioner. That's the way that it goes. It's going to be that way for a while. But Tristan Hill just has to know, be more mature, son. Understand that what's the guy on that meme? You're not that guy, son.
You're not.
You're not that guy.
I got another meme for you. The Tristan Hill thing kind of just puts the icing on the cake that you're not going to get that benefit of doubt. This is the Cowboys versus the league. It is what it is. That's the meme I'm talking about. It is what it is. So I'm no longer going to be that fan that gets upset anymore. I'll have my moment, or you know what, this sucks, and then I move forward because I don't expect anything else. But I was definitely upset at first, but I said, well, why? What do you expect to happen, right? And I got a lot of fans talk that into me, and I'm like, you're right. What else did I expect to happen? Another situation that came up this week for the catch-up, Mike McCarthy. Freaky Mike. Yeah. Freaky Mike got a little bit too. No, Freaky Mike came down with the vid, as they say, and he'll be out. And Dan Quinn will be taking over from Mike McCarthy today. And real quick, my thoughts on it. I like it because he's familiar with this staff. He's coaching that staff, against that staff. He's familiar with the Saints. He's familiar with playing in the Superdome, and he has the most experience as a head coach on the staff. Kind of your thoughts here on Dan Quinn taking over for Mike McCarthy today, who won't be coaching.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
The only thing about that is that when you take Dan Quinn away from his normal responsibilities, where is his focus at, right?
Right.
Because a lot of times, I think when you're a defensive coordinator or you're an offensive coordinator, you want to get in a rhythm, right? So when he sits up high and he's allowed to see things, feel the game, see how guys are playing, he's able to make calls, or by the way that he sees things. Now you have to be able to make these calls. Oh, by the way,
manage the game.
And manage the game. Should we challenge it here? Or should I throw my flag here? Or should I take a timeout here? Should we go for it here? All of those things now come into play. I think because even when he was a head coach at Atlanta, he wasn't the defensive coordinator.
Not until desperate times call for desperate measures, but for the most part, he was not calling the plays.
He was a walk-around head coach. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. Will he get the calls in on time?
Right.
Will they be able to communicate correctly? Because if the offense is coming off the field and the quarterback is trying to talk to him and the defense is out there and they're like, yo, I need the call. And he's like, hold on, Dak. Right. So those type of things can happen in the course of a football game. Because, again, Sean Payton is going to try to get this thing moving, try to get they're going to try to sneak you a little bit sometimes. Yeah. So I'm interested to see how that affects him and his kind of down-for-down calling the defense.
I think what he has going for him, if it was a game for your head coach to be missing and a team to play, it's this one. You're going up against the third-string quarterback, right? A guy we kind of joke around about being a tight end playing quarterback, but, I mean, the dude literally has been long snapper, a gunner, everything you could think of in a quarterback. And then you got an offensive line that's compromised, weapons that are compromised. Yep. So if there was a game to do it, this is the game I feel good about Dan Quinn doing it. If he had to do this against Aaron Rodgers, we're talking about a whole different – I wouldn't feel too great about it.
I wouldn't feel too great
if he was just a DC, right?
If he was just a DC, if Mike wasn't out.
but that's kind of the silver lining in this whole thing. And, maybe with Coach McCarthy out, these guys rally around Dan Quinn. I don't know how it is in that locker room, but I'd imagine they got something they want to prove. This could be an opportunity for DQ to, put my hat back in that ring if he wants to be a head coach too. So that's something to look at there as well. All right, now let's kind of move forward to our topics for the pregame show, starting off with some of the big returns today, Jesse. And I want to start off with what I think is the biggest one. I know we'll get into the receivers, but I think getting Demarcus Lawrence back this week is massive because they have been lacking. The pass rush has been lacking, aside from Micah Parsons, over the last 3 weeks without D-Law and without Randy Gregory. They've been able to kind of, muddle it together over the year without one or the other for most of the season. And Micah Parsons has just been, I don't even know what the word to use anymore with this guy. He's just all world, seriously.
Absolutely.
I mean, if he's not all pro this year, I don't know what an all pro looks like. Right. So you get Demarcus Lawrence back in a game where this team could run the ball 30, 35 times.
Yep.
I think that's massive, but does he start? Does he play significant snaps? Should he play significant snaps? And am I too high on his return this week?
I don't know if you're too high on his return this week. I mean, here's what's for certain. Getting good players back matter.
Yeah.
That's just what it is, right? Getting guys who have talent, getting guys who are Pro Bowlers, getting guys who have big contracts, getting those type of guys back matter. The biggest thing, though, is it's not like Tank missed 2 weeks. It's not like Tank missed a month. Like, he's missed almost 3 months. I mean,
roughly.
He's missed a lot of football. And so the thing is what can he give you, right? The return is great, but what can he give you in the return? I don't know if he gives me full-on Tank the first game back.
Right.
There's going to be some rust. I mean, they only practice a couple days this week. Is his pass rush moves there, right? Is he kind of still hesitating? Is he,
You can't replicate going up against somebody in the game. You just can't in practice. They
don't even wear pads in practice.
Exactly.
They don't even go full speed in practice.
I think it was Lyle Collins who said that. He said, "Man, I can go up against air all day, but I have to get out there."
Right.
And we talked about, hey, Lyle's going to need some games, right? Going to need some games, and I would imagine Tank's going to need a couple games to get back in the swing of things. But can he make an impact tonight?
I think his presence alone, you got to know where he's at, right?
Yeah.
And so you got to say, oh, there's a 90. And that alone can help you out some. again, we don't know. His adrenaline is gonna be through the roof
At the beginning, yeah.
He's gonna be happy to be back, but that conditioning is real, man. Like, that conditioning is real. I know people are like, well, just go out there and play. You ain't never run up against a 330-pound dude for 60 snaps.
He can't play 60 any day.
No.
Like, he has to be what I said 15, 20, but maybe 20, 25, roughly.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
And utilize him more in those second and longs, third and longs, as opposed to the first downs where you're likely going to get runs with this team. I can't foresee them throwing a bunch on first.
Having him back helps you with rotation. Having him back helps you with impact. Having him back helps you with leadership. Having him back helps you. It helps you in a lot of different areas. Again, I just don't know fully what he's going to be able to give, because there's going to be a little bit of rust that he has to work off to get back to that Pro Bowl form again and really being a confident Tank.
Well, he's going to be going up against backups, so that's
a great move.
That will help. I think the second biggest, or only the second biggest, but another return that the Cowboys will be getting is CeeDee Lamb, who missed the last 1.5 games, right? Missed a half, was out at halftime against the Chiefs, missed the full game against the Raiders. And I kind of got to couple that with Amari Cooper, right? I think getting both of them back, I always joke about this, having two is better than one type of thing. But seriously, if you get Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb back, what it does, and the reason why I bring it up, is it allows CeeDee Lamb to be in a position where he's been dominant.
Yep.
Not saying that he hasn't been really good on the outside, but he's been abusing, slot corners all year. So the impact of getting CeeDee Lamb back, I think, is going to be a big shot in the arm, and Amari Cooper back, a big shot in the arm to this offense that's been up and down over the last month of the season. If we keep it a big.
No, absolutely. And the one thing that this Saints defense has, they had a couple of decent corners now.
Good secondary.
They got a good secondary, and that tape is still out there where teams said, we're going to get up in y'all face, we're going to press, and we're going to make you – you're going to have to beat us down the field. And so having Amari back, having CD back, Michael Gallup's been kind of holding down the fort for a while. You won't have Seth Wilson out there today. So having those guys back is definitely a comfort level for Dak Prescott. He knows that when I look out there and it's Amari Cooper and it's not Malik Turner, I can throw this slant. Right? I can throw into that window because Amari's going to make that catch. But the same thing applies for Amari Cooper. And if you remember earlier in the year, he was out for some time. And it was in training camp when he came back in training camp, and he said, I just got to get my feet back underneath me, right? Yeah. Because he's such a route tactician. And, that takes time as well to get back in that groove of, my releases, my timing, my pace, all of that kind of stuff takes a little time to get back. And so for him, it's the same thing. It's growing and getting back into that mode of, all right, now I'm back. Now I can hit him where I want to hit him. Now I see what I want to see, and I can go to work.
And it's not like it's one of those injuries or one of those things where, hey, I'm on IR, but I can still be with the team. Just remember, he was out on COVID, so he wasn't allowed to be at the facility. There's no practicing with Dak. He's not around these guys for what is essentially, 2.5 weeks or what have you. Right. So you're right. He has to play. But if anything, even if he's a decoy tonight, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Because – and I'll get to it. I want to go right to it. The ideal turf matchup of the week. The turf tough matchup of the week I have as Amari Cooper and Marshawn Lattimore. And before I do that, I got to tell you guys about ideal turf. And I always ask this question to Jesse. Jesse, what's worse than the Dallas Cowboys loss, man?
Cutting grass.
Cutting grass. And we have this experience. You were just talking about your experience before about these guys.
Yes.
But cutting grass is definitely worse than the Cowboys loss. But you can always hire somebody. Or
you can eliminate it all.
Exactly. Eliminate all of that and stop spending hours every week cutting your lawn and spending thousands of dollars every year on your lawn maintenance. Just maybe have the nicest looking lawn on the block by using Ideal Turf. What if I told you could save all that time and money, all while having a yard that looks as green and clean as the turf that the Dallas Cowboys play on? And I'm going to grab this turf for you because I always like Jesse to hold this thing up as we talk about it here. I'll let y'all see it here. Ideal Turf is the #1 artificial grass company in Texas. They take the top-of-the-line turf products and install them at your home. Speaking of which, they came out to your home for your estimate, right?
Yeah, I kept seeing this, and I was like, you know what?
Called him right out.
I called him out. Spoke to Mary. Mary got with Jeff. Jeff came out to the crib. They did some measurements. He showed me 3 or 4 different patterns. This is one of the higher cuts. They got some smaller cuts. He was saying, like, hey, we can keep your sprinkler systems in there. And so, now
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So you can just rinse it off. Like, I got a dog. So they're like, if it gets, a little dingy, hit the sprinklers, rinse it off, go about your business. It'll drain right through.
And that's the thing about Ideal Turf. It doesn't matter if you have pets or not.
Right.
They still have turf that basically adheres to your pets. I mean, they have playground turf, patio turf, lawn and landscape, pet-safe turf. Whatever you need, they have that Turf Tough quality that is felt in all of their products. So here's what I need you guys to do if you are interested in this Ideal Turf. Head over to ideal-turf.com and fill out their form for a free, after you use that, FREE, free quote. That's all you got to do. Fill that form out and let them know that A to Z Sports sent you for your free quote from Ideal Turf.
I promise you it's worth it. It's worth it. Let them come out. Let them show you what it is. They have several different, patterns and to everyone's liking. If you want a little putting green, they can do that too. And so I'm seriously considering it. And, so,
Check them out.
Check them out.
Check them out, y'all. Today's Ideal Turf Tough matchup, though, like I said, is Amari Cooper versus Marshawn Lattimore. Maybe not fair because Cooper hasn't played in a few weeks, but he's out there, all right? It doesn't matter. There's no excuses.
If you're out there, you got to play.
Exactly. And let's remember, these guys actually battled a couple years ago in New Orleans in the Superdome, and Marshawn got the best of them. He held him to 5 catches for 48 yards, and I remember that final possession. There was an offensive pass interference call, go figure, on the Dallas Cowboys that negated a first down, and that was Marshawn kind of getting the best of Amari Cooper, getting in his head a little bit. Marshawn Lattimore is a very good cornerback, guys. He has his weaknesses, but I think what his strengths are something that can give Amari Cooper trouble, and that's being physical, being tough at the line of scrimmage, being gritty, being hardcore, and Amari's more of a finesse player.
Right.
He doesn't like that, but how can you combat that as a more of a route running guy? As a receiver, you understand. So how can you combat that when you got a guy who's physical like that?
Beat him at the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
And that's what Amari has always been really good at, his line of scrimmage releases. And that's the one thing. If you let a guy get handsy with you at the line of scrimmage, then he'll bother you all the way down the field, disrupt the timing and all that kind of stuff. So Amari has to be able to, go into his toolbox, find out what moves that he want to use, do it, and get ghosts, right? And for he and Dak to get back on the same page, get some early throws. Get some early throws, some hitches, some slants.
Yes.
Things like that where you can just get those guys, back on the same page and saying, all right, we're back. And then these guys start guessing, right? You got one thing about, Lattimore, one thing about Jenkins and
P.J.
Williams and Marcus Williams, they'll give up plays. Oh, they will gamble and they will give up some plays. You got to hit those plays, though. But, yeah, just get some early throws to Amari and loosen up that matchup a little bit. Motion. I know that you love the motion. I know you love the motion, but it's a great thing for when you're facing a physical press corner. I want to get these guys in motion, right? Amari's going to be playing off the ball. He's going to be playing essentially
not the Y, the Z.
He's going to be essentially playing the Z. Michael Gallup be playing some of the X. So just motion them. Short motion, across the motion, whatever. And now that essentially makes them have to back off, and it gives you just a little bit more space to operate with. And I think with that, Amari Cooper will be successful.
That is, we laugh about it, but the motion, I think, is very important against this type of defense because they're physical, like you said, the line of scrimmage. They play that too high shell, but you can get them out of their responsibilities by motioning people. Last minute pre-snap motion, I don't want to say post-snap motion, but the at-snap motion. You see a lot of teams do that now to get it from college where you got a guy kind of running right by you as you snap it or running behind you, things like that. When I watched the Bills game, I didn't watch it live. I went back and watched the tape. That's one of the things that I saw Josh Allen have success at. They hit them with some big plays to the tight end. They hit them with some big plays to their wide receiver by getting some of that motion. And one of the plays they did was, I love this style of play. They would motion the wide receiver in, play action off of it. The wide receiver would look like he's blocking, and then he'd leak out. Marshawn Lattimore's biting all day on that because he's aggressive, kind of similar to Diggs in a way.
Right.
He's aggressive, and boom, now you got the safety, but the corner is so far up. All you got to do is just drop it in the bucket right over the top of him. And they hit him with that about 3 times in that game. So I'm looking for something like that too. And what you talked about, get the ball in their hands early. Yep. Not just Cooper, but CeeDee Lamb. It kind of frustrates me sometimes when I see that they got these guys and they wait to try to get them involved, or they try to do these deep shots. Or just let them touch the ball. Let them get hit, right? Let them get that feel of the. I'd rather do that than, and y'all can crucify me. then turn around and hand the ball off to Ezekiel Elliott for 2 yards in a cloud of dust. I just would, Jesse.
Well, that seems like what the plan's going to be, according to Jerry Jones this week, that there's going to be that Zeke Elliott, which is weird to me, that a guy who it looks noticeably hurt, you're going to say that he's going to have a massive workload in this game.
Is that gamesmanship?
I hope so.
It's gamesmanship.
I hope so, because if that's the strategy that you're going with, you might be going off in the post game.
Yeah, well, you'll follow me on Twitter. You already know how I feel about the post game if something happened in this dang old game. But, yeah, let's kind of talk about that a little bit. We've been calling it for, 2-3 weeks now to get Tony Pollard to be more involved as a featured guy. I would love for this type of game for Tony Pollard. Ladies and gentlemen, the last time Ezekiel Elliott, healthy by the way, played against this New Orleans Saints defense, he averaged 1.9 yards per carry and had a fumble, granted questionable. His knee was down, but home cooking. Had a fumble that was lost, that was a massive fumble to end the first half. He did not do well. Guess how many touches Tony Pollard had in that game?
5.
0.
Oof.
0 touches in a game. And I say this a lot. If Zeke is struggling because he's not that kind of hit the home run, quick type of guy, maybe switch it up. Maybe get a quick guy in there. Maybe he'll hit the hole differently. You give the defense something different to think about. Why not do that today? Why not feature Tony Pollard today and use Zeke as the battering ram to mix it up? Flip their roles.
Yeah, I hope that the Cowboys have a better plan than just saying we're going to line Zeke up and just handling the football over and over and over again.
Not against the number 2 or 1 rush defense.
Yeah, and that's not a solid plan. That's not a solid plan. And the one thing about this New Orleans team, this Cowboys team has started slow in a lot of these games.
Like the last half a year, they've been, yeah.
If you allow this crowd to get in it early, you will find yourselves pulling yourself out of a deficit. So trying to run Zeke on first downs and they stop you, the roof is going to go off, right? Trying to run them again on second down, they stop you, the roof is going to blow off the place. And then
now you're in 3rd and long.
Now you're in 3rd and long, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, and you may be successful 1 or 2 times, but that crowd gets loud. We all know that Tyron's good for 1 hold and 1 offsides a game. And when you're having that communication, we talked about this with Kansas City. When you got to go to that silent count, it's actually an advantage to defense because they're already looking at the ball, right? So now when the offensive line has to looking at the ball and then get their eyes back up to you, that dude is already on you. And they got, Jordan he ain't no punk. So you don't want him in your chest before you know it. So they gotta come out and strike fast.
They should loosen up the defense with the passing game and then run the ball in this type of game.
My suggestion: open up this game in a 2-minute drill.
I'm with it.
Open up this game in a 2-minute drill. Let Dak Prescott call everything from the line of scrimmage. Hurry up. Keep the crowd out of it. Be able to go out there and get going. I think that's when he's at his best. When he's able to get up there and just go, he can make all the calls. He make all the signals. He sees the defense. He can kind of do individualized things. Get out there. Let him run that 2-minute. Don't wait till late in the game to turn on a 2-minute. Let him start with that early and see if you can't build some momentum.
Out of it.
Yeah, see if you can't build some momentum with that.
That was my number one thing in my 3 keys earlier today on the show was get out on them early.
Yep.
For a number of reasons. One, you take the crowd out of it. The 2 advantages they have in this game is the element of surprise because we don't have much on Taysom Hill, and they play at home, right? In a dome where the Cowboys, I believe, are 1-8 in the last 9 games, and they haven't scored 27 points against them. I saw that statistic go out. But the best way to take them out of it is to get up on them early. Yep. And if you can get up on them early, now you put the ball in Taysom Hill's hands.
I love it.
And I love that. Again, I said I will come on here. I'll do it on a post-game show. I'll do it on the morning show tomorrow. If Taysom Hill comes out here and he completes 75% of his passes, 35 passes, and 3 touchdowns, 300 yards, I will eat crow.
Literally?
I will literally I'll find a crow, because there's a whole bunch of them in Texas, I know this, man. You go anywhere, these crows is gutter.
You gotta watch that, because we got some wild fans, and someone will definitely freeze a crow
send it to me
and send it to you. Somebody in East Texas You know,
yo, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Please don't.
I'm like, there's somebody in East Side. They're like, oh, you want crow? We got raccoon.
Well, shoot,
we got
had
possums.
somebody make us a pie or something, so they might bring us a crow pie. No, I don't need no crow pie. I mean figuratively,
don't say
not
we eating
literally.
that. You don't put we in that. We ain't eating crow. You gonna eat that crow by yourself.
You ain't gonna eat no crow if he win. If not win, I won't say win. But if he go out here and he,
No. I mean, I'll come up here and I'll sing his praise. You gonna eat the crow by yourself?
I'm happy because all week I've been like, man, Taysom Hill, throwing the ball.
I agree.
Please.
I agree with you 100%. If Taysom Hill could come out here and, like I said, throw for 300 yards and a couple touchdowns and beat you as a quarterback, then I don't know. I'll eat crow, but I'll eat a couple pieces of chicken.
Barbecue chicken. Okay.
We can get some chicken. We can get some chicken. I'll eat that.
My other key was to stay patient offensively. When I watched that Bills game, because of the style of defense that they play, let me bring up some of their defensive stuff right now. The style of defense that they play, they kind of force you to methodically move down the field, just methodically. They don't give up the big plays too much. They played it too high. And I don't know how, not too many teams can say, hey, we'll beat you in the run game with our front seven in 2021. Usually the way offenses spread you out, they can create lanes and you get gashed. The Cowboys did it to the Chargers. The Chargers played that too high all game, and they just got after them. But for somehow, some way, the Saints were able to, bottle up teams pretty much all year on the ground, aside from the Eagles game where they just had like 200 yards on those boys. But the Eagles run that option style zone read stuff, which goes back to what my points about Dak Prescott. I would like to see him take off Jesse, I need just a little bit. A little bit. Just put that in their head. You know what I mean? I watched Josh Allen, who he's a little bit more durable at this point, right? Younger a little more spry. But Josh Allen made them think a little bit with his feet. And I want to see Dak have to do that, to open up a little bit in that ground game. Not saying read option all the time, but just
when we watched that game and Dak lowered his shoulder to go get that touchdown, you almost passed out in here. You literally almost passed out in here. You like, what are you doing?
It was unnecessary. We were up by like 40 points.
So it's things like that
it's a catch-22.
Trying to, yes, you want to see him take off, right? But it's like, all right, when he takes off, is he going to be smart enough to get down? Is he going to be smart? And when he broke his ankle the last time, that
was a design run that was unnecessary, yeah.
Right, and it wasn't like it was a dirty play.
No.
And you just never know how these things play out, right? You go to run and you're trying to get down and the guy traps your arm and now you're shoulder first into the turf. Now you're out for a couple weeks.
Well, that happened when he scrambled against the Rams in 2019.
And right.
It came down on his shoulder, and then what happened the next week?
Trying to go to
Philly.
Trying
to play in Philly with a bum shoulder. Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's you want to do it, and then it's like, all right, if it doesn't work, now you're saying, was it worth it? Was that 6-yard gain worth it?
Yeah. See, man, you talking me back. I was adamant about that too. Let me run, but now you kind of got me a little bit nervous about that thing now. But no, seriously though, I think they have to stay patient offensively, and this is a word we haven't heard in a while, but aggressively take what the defense gives you. I don't necessarily like being punked into doing what the defense wants you to do, because that's what it feels like the Cowboys have been doing lately. The last 4 games. Well, I don't think the Raiders it was that in that way, but the other 2 games it was definitely that way. They said, "I dare you to throw against us with whoever is out there. You're not running today, right? We're loading the box up, right?" They forced the Cowboys into doing that.
Right.
Today, just be patient, and I want to see them be efficient on the ground, Jesse. I'm not asking for the ground game to get 200 yards, but the last, 4 weeks, 5, 6 weeks, whatever it's been, they've been poor.
The Cowboys went from being number 2 rushing team in the National Football League the first 8 weeks of the season to now they're 26. Like in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Bad, man. It's been bad.
So it's been really, really, really bad. But again, this comes back to, hey Kellen, come on. Figure it out. Like you're the boy genius. Like in these times, that's when you have to galvanize the truth. That's when you gotta go in your bag. You gotta go in your bag and say, how can I bring the boys back? How can I get us back to where we need to be? And whether that's like you said, pre-snap motion, whether that's running Tony Pollard, whether that's running Zeke, however you got to do it, you got to find a way. Like we're to the point of the season where we can't be still trying to figure out who the hell we are. We're in December.
This is
if
that
you
time.
don't know who the hell you are in December, we gonna be out of here in January.
Well, I said this today on the morning show. I said, it's cool.
What happened?
I think it was
Nick, the light thing came out.
Yeah, the light thing. He'll get it. I think with the Cowboys getting their guys back, right? One of the silver linings about the injuries, and we said this in September, we said it in October, we said it in November, they're not season ending. So they'll return. So now you're getting your guys back at the best part of the year to get them back so you can get into that rhythm. This is the time of the year, like you said, to know who you are.
You have
right?
to be peaking in December.
Right.
The Cowboys are not peaking.
They're not. It's not.
They're in the
It's December
valley.
now.
They're in the valley.
Right. Well, in November. Now,
December 2nd.
Well, I mean, in November they were 1-3 is what I'm saying. So
Okay.
December they have the opportunity to peak.
Right, but
And
they're coming from the valley.
They're definitely coming from the valley.
So
no doubt
it's
about
not
it.
like they're like, oh, we on main ground, we ain't got that much more to go. Like, you're starting out December in the valley.
Right. Where there's nowhere. What's the saying? There's nowhere but
Else.
up to go or something like. There's
Or
nowhere
you can
else to go
deeper
but
in the valley.
up. I feel like there's nowhere else to go but up with this team because of the guys are getting back. The schedule, I mean, it is what it is. It's football, right? Any given Sunday, but the schedule is in your favor. You've tasted defeat in the month of November, so you should be coming into December trying to prove yourselves, right? You have a chance to clinch the division. So there's a lot that's going for them to kind of make that climb back.
Right.
But what I was saying on the show is that you're getting these guys back. So now there's no more excuses.
Mm-hmm.
There's no more excuses, and you talk about finding yourself. Believe it or not, this will be the first game all season. They'll have the big three at receivers, and your starting offensive line in regards to Tyron Smith, Zach Martin. I mean, you could throw Lyle in there, but Lyle and Terrence kind of been a wash at this point. But Tyron Smith, Zach Martin in the big three, the first time all year. Couldn't ask for a better part of the season to have that. And that's December 2nd, right, to start that ascension. So I'm looking at this team to, all right, now, let's get it started. Not necessarily flick, you can't just flick on, the on and off switch. You don't do that in the NFL. You just don't. But it's time.
Yeah.
As our guy says, Michael, it's time. It's time.
It's time.
It's time to turn it on, man.
And I want to make 2 points that I think are extremely important for us to just to talk about. One of them may not happen, but the first one I want us to look at is Lyle Collins hasn't been playing great football.
No.
He hasn't been playing great football in 18 months.
Yeah,
And
his best game of the year, or the best game in those 18 months, was week 1.
Right. and a lot for him, I don't know if it's a lot of technique, right? He's been tall, he's been straight-legged, leaning over, lunging. But what about if something happens to Lyle today?
Tied in second.
Ooh.
Oh, we didn't talk about that at the top of the show. Terrence Steele is out because of COVID-19. So
having those guys back is cool, but Lyle hasn't been playing football like we know Lyle had been playing before.
That's why I think whoever made, I think it was Bobby Bell, he didn't include Lyle. He said it's the first time that they'll have Zach Martin and Tyron Smith together with the big three. But Lyle's definitely the question mark of the big three on the line.
And there's one thing that I think, it's always interesting when you're dealing with veteran coaches like Sean Payton. Sean Payton watched football the last couple weeks of the Dallas Cowboys. Sean Payton understands and knows that this Cowboy team is an undisciplined football team. Sean Payton has sent in a couple plays to the National Football League to the officials and says, hey, guys, look at this guy. Sean Payton is greasing up the refs before the game saying, yeah, this Micah kid is jumping off a little bit too fast. Like,
slow his ass down.
Like, this Micah kid he's coming off the ball. Just make sure he ain't jumping off shots. Make sure he ain't out there just doing different things.
See number 30 back there?
Hey, this number 30 guy, he's a really grabby guy. And this is what veteran coaches do. They go out there, Bill Belichick does it, right? And they just kind of it's just, I want to just have this roll around in your brain, Mr. Official, that number 30, he's a little bit grabby.
Hey, Tyron Smith, it might look like he's dominating them, but I think he might be holding a little bit. Yeah.
So that's the type of stuff that can happen in this dome. People say, well, what happened? How'd you call it? You haven't had that call all year long. Well, yeah, Sean understands that and knows that, and he'll go like,
Sean understands the assignment, as they say.
He understands the assignment. And the thing about this is, Sean knows straight up he can't win. He knows that.
Yeah.
He knows if we just lined up and went, we don't have enough. We don't have enough. So I got to trick it up. I got to muck it up. I gotta do all types of stuff. I gotta get the refs on my side. I gotta get a cheat call here, a cheat call there. If I can get a turnover here, a turnover there, so he understands. I need about 3 or 4 or 5 plays to go my way that can turn the tide of this game, and he's definitely greasing up those refs and saying
it would not shock me at all. I mean, I would do this as a coach if I saw what I just saw on Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
If I would target AB all day and tomorrow with deep ball, not underneath, because I think AB's been playing those quick slants and things like that very well this year. I'm talking deep. He has a couple good plays and some interceptions. Honestly, he did not play bad in that game in regards to giving up receptions. He had penalties.
Right.
So if I'm Sean Payton, I got my third-string quarterback. I got Kenny Stills as my best wide receiver. Traquan Smith. I mean, they don't have the weapons really like that to get you. Okay. 3rd and what? 12? Kenny, just run. Just run, bro. All I need is 3 seconds.
And if
Give
you
me
pick
3
it
seconds,
off, it's a punt.
It's a punt.
If they catch it, they catch it. We win. If it's an INT, if it's a DPI, we win.
I mean, just watch Derek Carr last week. Derek Carr did it on a number of occasions. It didn't always look like it, but we were talking about it during the game. We were kind of like Amari Cooper and Dak. We said, you see that?
Yep.
We didn't have to say nothing. You see that?
You see that?
Because that's what he's doing. And if I'm was Taysom Hill, that's what I would do.
Absolutely.
I target. I leave Trayvon alone. And there's no need to even deal with that because you ain't that kind of Q and you ain't got that kind of weapon.
Right.
So just leave him alone and go ahead and target AB and just throw it up
Yep.
and hope for the best. So, all right, guys. And then the last part on the keys to victory was kind of what we're talking about, man, was be ready for the trickery from Sean Payton.
Yes.
Backed up against the wall, no weapons, everybody's hurt. I'm looking for Sean to come out early and often being aggressive. Whether it be an onside kick, Jesse, whether it be a flea flicker. I wouldn't be shocked if you saw multiple aggressive kind of out-of-the-box thinking plays per quarter.
Yep.
One of his most infamous or famous, I shouldn't say infamous because it worked, his famous plays was in the Super Bowl. He comes out in the second half and kicks an onside kick.
Yes.
No one does that.
Right.
Sean Payton does.
Nope.
So I think you got to expect that every time they have the ball, I think.
No, so we would have a call, right? We'd have a call on, when you come out for punt return, right?
Yeah.
You come out and you just be like, alert, alert, alert. Like everything has to be on high alert when you're dealing with, maybe they may fake punt it. Hey, we don't kick off return, alert, 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 alert. They might onside kick it. Like everything, be alert on kickoff because they might try to double reverse it.
Yeah.
I would not be shocked in the first 7 plays of the game when the Saints have the ball if you don't see some sort of trickery, some sort of double pass, some sort of throwback, something where you're just going to try to get the Cowboys on their heels and, again, try to steal a big play early in this game.
I went back purposefully and watched the 2 games that Taysom Hill threw the ball 35-plus times because I was like, there's no way they're going to let him throw the ball that much, right? To my surprise, he threw the ball 35-plus times twice, ironically, against the Atlanta Falcons. Mm-hmm. Now, Dan Quinn was not the head coach at the time or defensive coordinator. He had been fired already. But in both of those games, when I watched it, guess who was there? Both tackles, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, things like that. So I would be really shocked if they came out and just threw the ball willy-nilly, unless it was a flea flicker, unless it was one of those 3rd and 12s, just throw it up to AB. But I fully expect, based off of kind of a tweet I saw, them to run heavy RPO, heavy zone reads, because what has the Cowboys been struggling with for years? That specific type of offense. Now, I love what you called it. They have what you call Micah, the perfect RPO eraser or something, or read option eraser, Micah Parsons. Leads me to the question, chat. You put him at defensive end today, you put him at linebacker, or you kind of just feel it out as the game goes.
I think you feel it out, but I think the biggest thing is Taysom Hill can't outrun Micah Parsons.
No.
Taysom Hill's not
fast,
stronger.
but he ain't that fast.
He ain't that fast. Like, Micah Parsons is the perfect linebacker built for the read option.
Yeah.
And I think he diagnoses it really well, and when he gets his hands on you, you come down. You come down. And so I think for him is start him at linebacker and then give him different looks. But when they get into that early RPO game, I want Micah right there to be hammering that thing out so they know we might have to go to something else because 11's out there and he ain't going for it.
I'm wondering if they do decide to play Demarcus Lawrence early and often on the line of scrimmage. I would love to see them let D-Law stay on the defensive line and put Micah behind him, because I think those two combined in the RPO, you're going to have to get lucky in a way, because I think D-Law plays RPO very well. He just doesn't have the athleticism to run down to Taysom Hill, but guess who does? Micah Parsons.
Yes, sir.
So that's what I'll be at. All right, where do you have this game going tonight, Jay?
For your sanity, for my sanity, for Cowboys Nation sanity, the Cowboys have to win this football game. If the Cowboys don't win this football game, all hell's going to break loose. I'm serious. All hell will break loose. All hell will break loose. But I have the Cowboys winning this game 30-17.
I like that score. I ain't even giving a damn score today. It's one of those games where I don't care how it gets done by hook. I don't care if it's 2-0, Jesse. They need to win this game. You play to win the game. Hello? Like, you haven't been doing that for the last month of the season. And we're in December. And you need to turn that tide as you're getting all these. The Cavalry's back. The Cavalry don't mean crap if you don't get the W. Right? You lose this game with the Cavalry, I use in quotes if y'all remember the show 2 days ago. You get the Cavalry back, but if you don't win, it does not matter.
Right.
So I just think no matter what, as Captain America say, I think he says no matter what or something of that sort, they have to get the job done today. So I'm not giving a score. I just think the Cowboys will win because they have the better Jimmys and Joes, and because their main guy is out, they do have a replacement that still can do some X's and O's in regards to Dan Quinn.
Yes.
So I got Dallas winning this game. I don't give a damn what score is. Just win the day going game.
Just win.
Just win, baby.
Yeah, just win. Just win.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you guys back here, Texas Live, Revolver Brewery, at halftime, and hopefully where I'm not losing my mind, but halftime, he keeps me calm for halftime. It's halftime. Post game is where you really want to go. You want to be back here on post game. Win or lose, you're going to want to be back here on post game, man. But all right, man. Jay Holley, Skywalker Steel, A to Z Sports, Game Day Live. We'll see y'all in about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
All right, guys. Peace.